Hi everybody, it's Thursday night, which means it's demo night here at Now You're Cooking. Tonight we're making a baked Alaska, which is really exciting and fun. It's not as intimidating as it sounds, really pretty simple, and we'll get into those steps in just a second. Tomorrow night is Art Hop here in Bath. We will be open until 7 o'clock. I think most of the shops are open. The street should be lined with all kinds of artists and craftspeople, and it's really fun, so come on down to see that. So that is from 4 to 7, Friday, the 15th of July, 2022. And then next week, next Thursday, I'm going to be doing a demo with my friend Kathy, who is a big boater. She and her husband do a lot of cruising on their boat. So we're going to talk about how to pack a cooler so that you're keeping your food cold over the course of a few days and able to keep things fresh. So we'll be showing you some packing options. We're going to be doing a really yummy marinated pork and talking about some things like that. So it's great for boating. It's also great for camping or any time where you don't have a refrigerator or freezer, but you do have a cooler. So that's going to be really fun. Week after that is makluba, which is upside down rice and chicken, which comes from Palestine, Middle East, and Sarah is going to be with me. She just spent the spring semester in Jordan, and that is going to be really fun. Made it a couple of weeks ago, and it is delicious. So we're really excited about that one too. So let's get to the baked Alaska. So first things first, you buy your ice cream. The recipe that we'll have posted, and we'll post this to Facebook right after the demo, but it's also on our website, and it will be linked to the video on YouTube once we get that posted as well. So the video said, the recipe says to use 2 quarts of ice cream. I'm actually doing 3 pints tonight, which is 2 cups less than 2 quarts. Because of the size of my bowl and so on and so forth, I probably could have put 4 quarts in it, but we don't need to eat that much ice cream around here. But you can, base it on the size of your bowl, how many people you're having, and that sort of thing. So what is a baked Alaska? A baked Alaska is a cake layer with a dome of ice cream over it, covered in meringue, and then the meringue is toasted, and you want to eat it immediately. But you do need to do a little prep ahead of time. So you're going to take your ice cream and soften it just a little bit so that you can put it into a bowl. Walk with me, Heather. I should have gotten this out before, but so this is a pint of strawberry, a pint of vanilla, and a pint of chocolate ice cream. And as it melts a little, you'll be able to see it a little better. That's why I like doing the glass bowls. We got our ice cream down at the fountain. It's Gifford's ice cream made here in Maine, and it's delicious. So we're really excited about that. So you want this to harden. So if you're doing a couple of different flavors, you'll want to do the first layer, then the second layer, then the third layer, but let it harden in between. Otherwise, you'll have kind of melty layers, which is also fine. But then you want it to stay in the freezer for probably at least 24 hours because you want it as hard as possible because it's going to be sitting out for a few minutes. Then you also need a cake base. This is a strawberry cake that we made a few weeks ago for our really incredibly delicious strawberry cake. You may remember that. So this was an extra base we had left over from that. You can use chocolate cake. You can use coffee cake. Can you use coffee cake? Sure, why not? You could use shortbread cookies. You could use Oreos, brownies, anything you want for that base. But you want some kind of cakey type base. The ice cream, you'll see this in a minute. It's going to be a thing of beauty, but you're going to put your cake on there and then flip it out. And again, we'll do that in a minute. We're not going to do it right away because we need to make our meringue. So the bowl is sprayed with a little bit of oil, and then it has plastic wrap. We'll get rid of that layer. Has plastic wrap, and that is going to help us get this out of the bowl because otherwise it's just going to be frozen right to the bowl. and it won't come out very easily. So before we get to that, we have to make our meringue. These pieces you're going to want to do ahead of time. The meringue you're going to want to do right before you zhuzh it up, and you're going to serve it as soon as it's all ready to go. So what I'm going to do is I have 4 egg whites. I have 3 in the bowl already. And you want to be really careful not to get any yolk or any water in here. It wants to be just egg white, nothing else. You can see one of my yolks broke, but I was able to get the white before any of the yolk got in. And what I do is I crack each egg, get the white, put the white in the bowl. Crack another egg, separate, put it in the bowl. That way you're sure if you get some yolk in there, just put it in with the other yolks and go with another egg. And there are different ways to separate. I like to play with my food, so I tend to just do it by hand. And I think we did this before when we made hollandaise sauce. So there's my white, and it's going in the bowl. Now, I said nothing else can go in there. However, other things can go in there, like a cup of sugar, which is right here. So we've got 4 egg whites, a cup of sugar, and we're going to do a little pinch of salt. And that's going in. And then we want to put this, if you're using a hand mixer in a regular mixing bowl, you can use the mixing bowl right on top of the pan. For this, because it's got a little base on it, I made a little stand sort of thing out of foil so that it's not touching the water too much. And I'm going to bring this back up to a boil. And my bowl's just going to sit in here like so that most of that steam is going to be heating the egg whites with the salt and the sugar. And I'm just going to whisk this. And what we're doing here, normally when I've made meringue in the past, I just make a regular meringue, which is the egg whites. It goes right in the stand mixer or hand mixer with its sugar, and you whip it up and you're good to go. In this case, it's actually going to be heated. You're not cooking it, but you're going to heat it, and you are going to dissolve all that sugar that's in there. And I believe, I'm not a professional, but I believe that heating up the egg yolks and dissolving the sugar together helps it to be a little bit more stable, and stability is definitely what we want with this dessert. So you don't have to stand slaving over a hot stove. I'm going to, because what else am I going to do while I'm talking to you? But you do want to stir it. You don't have to stir it every second, but you do want to stir it while it's in there, because like I said, you don't want to cook the whites. You don't want a sugar omelet or anything, or sugar scrambled egg whites. You want to be able to heat it without actually cooking it. So you can see it's kind of lightening up a little bit there. Making sure to get the sides scraped so that all that sugar is dissolving. The sugar that I'm using here is a fine granulated sugar, which I got at the grocery store. And so either the fine sugar or caster sugar is the best choice, because it will dissolve a lot faster. If you have regular granulated sugar, that's fine too, no worries. But the finer one will work a little bit better. Make sure that your whisk has a nice long handle, because it's hot, standing over the stove like this. And my eggs are pretty warm. That was quicker than last time. Hopefully I haven't cooked them too much. So they're pretty warm. My bowl handle is hot, so make sure you don't. Here we go. So that's pretty good. I'm also going to just make sure, just by feeling it, there's no grit or anything, so I know that the sugar and the salt are fully dissolved. So it's in my stand mixer, and I'm going to start this at a pretty low heat. And I think I probably heated these a little too much. A low speed, not heat. I feel like I may have heated these a little bit more so than they should have been, so hopefully it'll still work. And what you're going to want to do is whip this for maybe 3 or 4 minutes. The pan is hot. I can still feel the heat. But you want it to get a little bit fluffy. And then I'm going to turn the speed up just a little bit. I'm just rereading my directions because I've only done this once. I'm really quite brave, if I do say so myself. Okay, so low speed until they're foamy, which is about a minute or 2, and they're pretty foamy because I was already whisking them. So I'm going to increase a little bit. And what I want is a stiff peak, but not totally stiff. It's going to have a little droop to it. Unless I overbeat it, because that seems to be what I'm doing tonight. Overcooking, overbeating, over melting my ice cream. And we're speeding. And we are going to put some vanilla in. And I'm going to be using our Vein Vanilla, which is, this is their original blend, which is, I think, it doesn't say, I think it's Tahitian in rum. I think it's Tahitian vanilla in rum, but I'm not sure. It may be Madagascar. But we have several of their products here, and they're really good, really fun. We have some drops that you can put into mixed drinks or use them like you do in your baking. Come on, baby, please whip up for me. It's definitely coming together. You see in there, Heather? So while that's whipping, I'm going to be reckless, take my eye off it for a few minutes. I had this cake base in the freezer, and I just took it out yesterday to defrost, and so it's still going to be flavorful and moist. Oh, it smells really strawberry-y too. Yeah, it smells really good. So I'm going to put this right on top of my ice cream in the bowl. And I'm going to put the plate on. And then I am going to very carefully invert it and center it. Let me just check this. So that's looking pretty good. I'm going to let it go for another 30 seconds or so. Got a high heat. Because I want it to be fairly stiff because it's going to have to sit on the outside of the ice cream, and I don't want it like melting and softening. All right, to this I'm adding 2 teaspoons of vanilla, 1 and 2, and I'm going to be careful to start at a low speed so I don't splatter vanilla all over the place, which is usually what I do, as you know if you've been watching. Can you whip meringue by hand? Yes, of course you can, but it takes a while and it's tiring. Just like whipping whipped cream by hand, yes, you may absolutely do that. It's not that easy, but you know they've been making people have been making meringue for, I don't know, centuries, and whipped cream, and before electricity, obviously that's what they had to do. So yes, you can do it. It's to get a really stiff peak on the meringue takes a little while, so just be prepared to maybe have, if you have kids in the house or friends around that you're doing this with, see if you have, you can take turns with the whipping. All right, here we go. We're going to see. Oh, that it was so much easier than last time, even though it's not quite centered. So I made this a week or so ago for the staff just to prove that I could do it before I did it live. Oh, that's good. A waste of ice cream there, but that's okay. Just wipe my hands off. So you can see there's kind of a rim, like a margin here on the cake. I probably could have done another another pint of ice cream to put in there, but I don't think anybody's going to complain too much. So I am going to take my whip out, and you can pipe this on and make, beautiful rosettes or whatever. I'm going to go more old schooly and just kind of spread it on, and then we'll make some rosettes with a spatula. Oh, this is looking pretty good. And so when this is toasted, it tastes like toasted marshmallows. And it is delicious. And so as you can probably tell, the ice cream is a little bit melty now. So this is definitely something you want to do right before serving it. This is a great, really inspiring and beautiful dessert to do for a group of people. You do want to try to eat it all right away. You can freeze it, but it's not going to be quite as good. So we want to make sure, I'm not good at this kind of thing, but we want to make sure that there are some ridges here, because when we toast it, it's more the ridges that are going to get toasted. How's that?
It looks better than your first one.
It looks better than my first one, Heather says. All right, and you can lick the spoons later because they're delicious. So what we have here is a run-of-the-mill, actually it's a really awesome one. We don't sell this brand anymore, but this is just a torch for making creme brulee or whatever, and it gets fuel in it. They're really easy.
We do have other torches.
We do have other torches, yes, and it's really easy to use. They're really easy to fill. Wonder if I can, smells like s'mores in here. And so we're just browning this. It's a little gloopy, but it's going to taste really good. And I wonder if I can, sorry. Oh, Heather knows me so well, she backed up without even me telling her to, because I turned the flame up a little bit on here. Ah, she knows me so well. See how the design is really coming out when you toast the ridges and the pretty parts of it. All right, and I was hoping there'd be a gaggle of kids here to eat this, but it looks like Heather and I are going to be eating a lot of ice cream and cake by ourselves. So that will turn the burnt parts away. This, my friends, is a beautiful baked Alaska. And this is going to be really delicious. I'm going to cut a slice so that you can see what it looks like on the inside. And it goes nicely through the ice cream. So we're going to get a slice of cake. We are going to get a slice of cake and a bunch of ice cream. This is a really big serving, or at least it would be for me. And then you get that meringue on top. I think Heather is salivating over here. Oh no, it's falling off. But it's going to taste really delicious. You've got strawberry, vanilla, chocolate. Again, it's Gifford's ice cream, and I got this down at the fountain right here on Front Street in Bath. They have awesome ice cream there. A layer of cake, and then you have this marshmallowy, delicious meringue on top. And I am also salivating right now, and I'm not a big sweet eater, but that looks so good to me. And I also have meringue on my thumb, which I'm going to eat in a sec. So tomorrow night, Art Hop here in Bath from 4 to 7. We will be open until 7 p.m. Next week, we are going to be live from Harpswell, showing you how to pack and make some really good food for camping or boating. So join us next week. And if you make a baked Alaska, which you should because they're really fun, please take a picture and send it to me. I'd love to see what you come up with. You can use any flavor of ice cream you want. You can even use vegan ice cream. Frozen yogurt might be a little too soft, but you could try it. But you can make this vegan, you can make it gluten-free, you can make it whatever you want with your favorite kind of ice cream, and it's going to be delicious. So thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next week.